Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Shocking came across the timeline over the weekend, as I said, with all the sports stuff with the Bears, with Michigan, Ohio State, with all kinds of Thanksgiving stuff, that this kind of popped into your feed. And maybe it didn't come across your feed, that Billy Corrigan said something that he's never said before. And this is a guy that's been on this radio station 100 times. He's playing, of course, Q101's Twisted Christmas a week from Thursday. Sold out. We cannot wait for next Thursday at the Aragon. But he said this on a podcast with Howie Mandel. Howie Mandel has a podcast and interviewed Billy Corrigan. And I'm just going to play the audio because when I heard this, I was like, well, actually, it makes total sense.
Okay.
But
That's
here,
not what I thought the next sentence was going to be.
yeah, but here it is.
About 10 years ago, it sounds about right time-wise, one of my brothers was having a birthday party, and my stepmother was there, who was obviously married to my mother, not my real mother, but my stepmother.
Who was married to your father.
Yes, but who I grew up with.
Right.
And my stepmother said to me, do you know who Bill Burr is? Now, at that point, I'd never heard of Bill Burr. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know he was a comedian or he could have been the guy down the street.
Right.
And she said, well, he's this comedian, da-da-da. And I think I even somehow called up a picture on a phone. And I kind of noticed right away, like, gee, he really looks like my father. Bill Burr looks more like my father than Bill Burr looks like me, or I look like Bill Burr. So I said to my mother, like, well, why are you asking me this? I thought maybe the first thing she was just going to say, oh, he just thought you noticed the resemblance. She goes, I think it might be one of your father's illegitimate children. Bill Burr might be one of the children that your father sired in his days on being a traveling musician. This is a true story. I'm not making up. There's no joke in this. This is a true story. I've never told this anywhere, honestly.
I mean, now I think everybody listening, or most people know who Bill Burr is, the comedian. He's incredible. And then, you know what, Billy Corrigan, when you put them side by side and look at them, they're obviously brothers.
It makes sense.
It looks there's no question that they're brothers. And this blew my mind that how Billy Corrigan could just say, I've never said this anywhere before. He was in here just last year for an hour.
Well, I just looked up Bill Burr's parents.
Yeah.
Robert Burr and Linda Widgeant. Okay? And, let me tell you something. Linda's got some splaining to do. Don't you think, this is going to, ruffle some feathers?
Well, I think at this point, he doesn't care, or she doesn't care at this point about that. I know his dad's passed, but I don't think it's, she didn't bother saying it 10 years ago, so I don't know what 10 years later would do. I don't know.
It wouldn't bother anybody. You don't get to a certain point, in your relationship or your life where you're like, hey, kid with somebody else. It doesn't ever just roll off the tongue. What are you going to do? It's just, eventually you're like, he leaves the seat up a lot. That's fine. That's totally different.
I just can't believe he held on to this information he says 10 years ago, for 10 years.
I can't believe he gave it to Howie Mandel and not us.
Oh, what's up, Billy? Come on, man.
Now.
It is kind of BS. Think about it.
You were in here for an hour, 30 seconds. That's all we needed on that.
Gonna come up. I mean, I know you're a better interviewer than Howie Mandel, Brian.
Come
on now.
Thank you. Exactly.
I want to know, did Bill Burr respond to this?
Not yet. I haven't seen anything about Bill Burr responding to it.
I would like to know his opinion on this, and is his mother's opinion just because they look so similar? Is that where it's coming from? Or is she also and I knew that Linda bitch, and she's always around him?
Yeah. I don't.
It's funny that he revealed this the week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It had to make it extremely weird for Bill Burr.
That's it's unnecessary, a bit problematic.
Yeah, this just blew my mind. Like I said, when you look at Billy and him, Billy doesn't think they look alike. They do.
No, they look yes.
So I'm looking at a side by side right now, and I'm not sure which one's Billy. Yeah. I have to be honest. I'm like, this is two pictures of Billy. Oh, wait.
Unbelievable. I don't know how he held on to that for 10 years, because if that happened to me, you guys would all know about it while it was happening. While I got that information, I'd start a group text right then, and everybody would know about it before the conversation was even over.
They look so similar. They could have had a show on Disney called Mr. Okay, where they switch places with each other. It is unbelievable.
It's wild. Now, should we bring this up next week when he's in here? Or does he want to be over it? Does he want to just be over it now? I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Well, you brought it up to Howie. He's got to talk about it with us.
God.
And I'm annoyed by this whole Howie Mandel thing because he told him. And I look up the podcast name. It's not even a good podcast name.
I didn't even see what it was.
it's such a millennial thing to say. His podcast is Howie Mandel Does Stuff.
Yeah.
Ha ha.
Yeah.
So Brian, he's got this podcast, right, where he interviews people.
That's
It's
shocking.
a really
That's
unique concept.
wow.
Drives me nuts.
Mind blowing.
It only has 3-star rating on Apple.
You're going through the podcast ratings?
Yes, I am, because I'm annoyed.
Well, for our podcast, please give us 5 stars. Remember when you first started doing podcasts, I was going to say, make sure you write a review and give us a 5-star.
Well, it is the one thing that still helps podcasts. So please, Brian and Kenzie podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, go ahead and review that and rate it and subscribe to it, and it would actually be a big help.
Okay.
What we need to do is compile other bald people that look like Billy Corgan and be like, do you think you're related to him?
Yeah.
Do you think you're related to him? And that way we could get some breaking news also. So start thinking of some white bald guys that look like him.
I don't think I'm really relaying how stunned I was with this information. I don't know. It's first day back after a while, but I could not believe that Billy Corgan could be related to Bill Burr. And love both of them to death. 2 of my top 5s right there.
They've got to be on the Mount Rushmore of bald people.
Of bald, I was going to say musicians and comedians.
No, Kenzie's right. We need to round up bald people here and think about who might be related.
And Patrick Stewart,
Oh, yeah, he's a
white
good
bald guy.
yeah.
Bruce Willis, good white bald guy.
I like Bruce Willis.
Stanley Tucci.
The Rock. Comes back to
I
The
don't know
Rock.
if he's white.
Everything comes back to The
Do
Rock.
you think Billy Corgan's related to The Rock?
I do not see either of them.
It'd be amazing. And, like if you're related to somebody that we would be blown away by, hit us up at 312-591-8300. If you have some relation, or maybe you found out something over the Thanksgiving weekend about, hey, your dad did this. If you have any good stories on that kind of stuff, please share that story with us and let us sit around your Thanksgiving table with you a little bit late.
Howie's bald. Maybe he's related to him.
Who knows?
Wow, good point, Kenzie.
I'm saying.
Now, you realize at some point, all these people did have hair.
Right?
And some people
I don't know what your point is.
I mean, some people shave their head. Like Bill Burr, I believe, didn't. I think he could probably have hair.
No,
It just wouldn't grow in right. He could have some.
Yeah.
Most of these guys, almost all of them could have some.
That's why I will never shave my head because I'm afraid it won't come back.
That's not how it works.
I think it could work that way. It could be that unlucky.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We were just talking about how Billy Corgan on a podcast last week, Howie Mandel's podcast, talked about how he might be related to Bill Burr, the comedian, because his mom told him this 10 years ago. And I like how Billy talked about it. My father sired another child.
I know. It makes me feel like we have to go to our castle after our show.
It's very sophisticated.
I know.
And Billy's dad was a musician and traveled around, and so that's how that may have happened. They do look a lot alike. And also, as 773 checked in, they named them William. Both of them are Bill, or that's wild.
That is wild. That means that they are related because they would have come out of the womb and their parents would have looked at them and went, nope, that's a William.
That's a Bill.
Well, someone made the comment, why would the father name both? And I'm like, I have a feeling he didn't know about one of them. I don't think he was participating actively in the naming of this new beautiful baby.
It was a weird universe
In
thing.
the
where
Bill Burr setup of it.
What if he's got like 17 Bill illegitimate brothers or
Lots of
sisters?
Bills. It was a popular name. What are
I
you
guess
gonna
so. I don't know. By the way, Billy Corgan, if you have a chance to talk to him about it, next Thursday, sold out at Q101's Twisted Christmas. So you have the Smashing Pumpkins. What a night that's going to be. And also Cage the Elephant Night 1. That'll be a week from tomorrow, sold out. Now, you still can get tickets for the All-American Rejects, The Maine, a special performance from Andrew McMahon, and Dexter and the Moon Rocks. That's night 3. That's night 2, I'm sorry. And then night 4 is Bush, Bishop Briggs, and Palais Royale, all at the Aragon. So there's a few tickets left for night 2 and 4, none for 1 and 3. So we're going to be on the streets, myself, Kenzie, Brian Phillips, Lauren, this weekend, coming up starting Thursday. And that's all at Q101.com. We'll talk about that later in the week when we get there to get your free tickets. But get a ticket now because it is next week. It's unreal how Twisted Christmas is finally here, put together by all the fine people behind the scenes here at Q101. So go. It's our Christmas party to you for thanking you for all this year of loyalty, 2024. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101, a veteran of Twisted. It is Jack White.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
As we said a veteran of Q101's Twisted Christmas, Jack White. For all the new lineup that's coming next week, go to Q101.com and get your ticket. I can't stress it enough. The last 2 nights that have tickets available are close. So get your ticket now, secure it, and join us for the party. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Coming up, we're going to pour one out for a Chicago institution at 8:25. It's going away. I'm stunned. This is going away after probably 25 years, an iconic thing in Chicago. At 8:25, we'll pour one out. But something that dropped last week, we were talking about the Billy Corgan audio and that podcast of him being possibly brothers with Bill Burr. That dropped over the 4 days. And then also in the middle of a lot of that stuff, the Yacht Rock documentary dropped. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I want to see this so bad. Yacht Rock being music of the 70s, that light rock sound, Michael McDonald and Steely Dan. And speaking of which, I didn't see it yet. If you've seen it, let me know. But the documentary does not have this piece in it. It's the creator of the documentary about Yacht Rock calling Donald Fagen from the band Steely Dan to see if he'll be in the documentary. And apparently Donald Fagen has no sense of humor, doesn't like the term Yacht Rock, describing his music. And here's that phone call.
Hello, Mr. Fagen.
Yeah, this is he.
Yeah, hi, this is Garrett. I'm the one making this Yacht Rock documentary.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I've been talking to a lot of people that have played with you and Steely Dan over the years, and I was wondering if you'd sit down with me and talk about your music and this genre.
And what genre is that?
Yacht Rock.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, I tell you what. Why don't you go yourself?
I think Donald Fagen hung up on me.
Why is that bad?
I don't think he wants his own music to be referred to as Yacht Rock.
Why? Yacht Rock's awesome.
I agree.
It's like rich rock.
Yeah, but
Good for you.
But if you did it, you're probably trying to think like Steely Dan's very artistic, very art based, and they don't want it labeled as something that a bunch of bros are listening to on the weekends, having yacht rock parties and stuff.
Wow.
Which takes us.
That would have taken me by complete surprise as an insult.
Yeah, not happy with it.
Oh.
Why don't you go yourself?
For a yacht rock band, very aggressive.
Yeah, Steely Dan never good at anything, so that would make sense.
They're very talented,
Hey.
very appreciated.
But
I love
that
them.
was unnecessarily mean.
Very mean, much like Seth Rogen in Knocked Up when Paul Rudd brings up Steely Dan.
I'm just saying, the music industry is different now. Steely Dan would never even have a chance.
Well, maybe it's because Steely Dan gargles my balls.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 possibly poured one out for Sum 41 last week, their last show in Paris of this tour, and they said they're going away. Now, it's been 2 years since they said they're going away, but now allegedly going away, which is really sad and really tragic because they're still really freaking good as they were at Riot Fest. I got to talk to Derek and talk him out of it. But that's not what we're pouring one out for. Right now, we're pouring one out for a Chicago iconic thing that is my memory of first moving into the city, into downtown, and seeing this, and it's going away after almost 30 years. So let's pour one out. Truly bums me out. And I was talking to Kenzie and Case in the break during that song, and they don't understand the importance of it, but Blue Man Group is ending in Chicago its run after almost 30 years at the Briar Street Theater.
Crap, it's over?
Yeah, it's going away. So January 5th is the last one. That's the last show. And I recommend, I don't know if we're sold out all the way through or not, but if you can try to get to one.
A good Christmas gift, actually, because it's going away.
Very good Christmas gift. Good idea.
Very good. Thank you, Brian.
And I highly recommend it. Well, I remember moving to downtown Chicago. It's one of the first things I did. And by the way, Blue Man Group saved that theater. It was a disaster. It was going to be torn down. And Blue Man Group came to Chicago 27 years ago. And I can remember that they said it's on Halstead and it saved that theater. And also, the area grew up around it with more restaurants and bars in that area because Blue Man Group sold out multiple performances every night for 30 years. And it was a real phenomenon type of deal when it started. And you remember, like, Blue Man Group, you see the billboards of the guys all dressed in blue. And I didn't know what the hell I was getting into when I went.
How could you?
Yeah, it was it was a first date. I thought, I'm going to try to show her that I have, like, some kind of brain in my head. Like, I'm introspective. I'm dark and mysterious. So why not go to Blue Man Group? instead of like sluggers. Where I wanted to go, actually. I wanted to go to sluggers, go to the batting cages and get drunk and eat some wings.
Sure, you can hit a fly ball.
Yeah, that sounds like a first date to me, in my 20s. But it was such like an experience of mind, sound. The music is incredible in Blue Man Group. That's one thing that hits you right away. It's just the music first. Because you've seen those ads with them playing the drums and the weird instruments. But then they kind of go into the crowd. They mess with you. They break your space. Audience participation that way. It's basically these guys started as mimes on the street. They were street performers, and then they took it there. So there's a lot of art, a lot of throwing paint around.
They were miming on the street?
Yeah, they were street performers.
Oh.
And then they said, why not make it a show? And comedy. It's very funny. It's very funny. And then weird. It's kind of like they're aliens that were plopped onto Earth.
Okay.
And then they'll go into the theater and climb over the chairs and get right in your face.
I've never seen Blue Man Group.
You should try if you can go the next couple weeks.
Can I say something?
No. If it's going to disparage Blue Man Group, no.
It's not, because it has to be good. I'm aware of that.
Sure.
You don't have to convince me. I understand. But, like, I don't know. It just seems so weird to me.
Well, that's it. You can't tell what you're getting into when you go do it. There was nobody saying like, oh, Blue Man Group. I know. That must be like, the play Chicago or whatever, the musical.
It's not calling to me.
Yeah.
I don't feel that. Like, I got to go to this.
Maybe I'll take you.
You'll take me?
Yeah, just me and you.
Huh.
Am I not invited?
No.
Okay,
no,
cool.
you're not. Just me and Kenzie.
Awesome.
It's sold out. I think it's 35, not just in Chicago, but in New York and Chicago, 35 million people have seen Blue Man Group over the last 30 years or so. It's been in 20 countries. And it's a bummer it's going away, like I said, because it rejuvenated that Halstead Street district and they saved the theater and they chose it there for 27 years.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I also have not seen Blue Man Group. You said they get into your space?
Yeah, like they'll be on stage and all of a sudden one guy might just crawl over people to get to you like in row like 10.
Yeah, I don't like that. Not for me.
Well, you guys don't like touching. I like touching.
You're a big touching guy.
I'm a touchy-feely guy.
Penis out and crawl across me.
Are the Blue Man Group doing lap dances?
That's not appropriate. No wonder they're getting shut down. About time.
And they'll bring people on stage and all of a sudden they will be part of the show. And it is, I don't know.
Honestly, everything you've said has made me be like, well, I don't want that to happen.
The thought of Kenzie on stage with the Blue Man Group is highly entertaining.
I would be so pissed if I got brought on stage with the Blue Man Group.
That's the thing. That would be funny.
That would aggravate me so much. Like, let somebody sit in my seat. I don't want to do this.
Why don't you want to participate?
I don't. I'm not a joiner. I don't like that. I don't like that.
That is your rep. You're not a joiner.
I'm not a joiner. Not fun.
And the guys are like, they're dressed in all the blue paint, but they're kind of big guys. They're athletic, and the music you cannot be denied at all. I know Casey.
But they don't talk, so there's no singing.
Correct, but but music, like the drums, guitars, the bass, sounds.
It's all sounds.
You don't have to have lyrics.
I'm just saying, like they're not they're performing, but they can't like sing, right?
Two things about you: you're not a joiner.
I'm not a joiner.
And you like to sing.
I like lyrics.
You like lyrics, like to sing.
I like something like it'll be stuck in my head later. I'm not going to be like just thinking about drums.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe beat the hell out of that drum.
Do you have the qualifications to be a Blue Man in Blue Man Group?
I do, because I went to the Blue Man Group Wikipedia page, and I was really hoping that there was going to be like a controversy section, something dark and seedy we didn't know about the Blue Man Group. There isn't, but they do have the qualifications, which are to be in the group, a blue man had to be between 5'10" and 6'1".
Oh, dream crushed already.
Skilled at drumming and able to wordlessly emote. They also asked that each blue man learn to embody the 6 archetypes of the group, which are called innocent, hero, scientist, shaman, group member, and trickster.
Oh yeah, they're tricksters.
Oh, I want to be a trickster.
Like you have to be like really peaceful.
Well,
right?
I don't. What's a shaman exactly?
I thought it was like the peaceful usher guy.
I thought it was like a cousin to a priest.
Yeah,
something like that.
I always thought, spiritual. I thought of.
Boy, did I spell shaman wrong?
Let me guess. Did you spell S-H-A-W? Did you put a W in it?
No, W. S-H-A-M-A-N. Shaman is C-H-A-N. I was started off wrong.
Yikes.
Initially.
Yikes.
Woo! Never mind.
Well, what came up when you put that in?
They're like, did you mean you idiot?
First time AI said, "Are you an idiot?"
Good Lord. Who do we
Goodness
got
corrected
logging
by
in
you.
right now?
Yeah.
It's a French word and a Pakistani word. I don't know how that works. What is a shaman? According to a famed American psychologist and conscious pioneer. That sounds like a made-up job.
Well, it didn't say it paid. It's just what it is.
Conscious pioneer.
That does sound like the worst guy you follow on Instagram would call himself a
okay.
conscious pioneer.
That would be in his bio.
Yeah.
Annoying.
I'm changing mine to that today. That's my bio.
A community-assigned magico-religious professional who deliberately alters their conscious in order to obtain information from the spirit world.
The Blue Man Group is doing that?
Yep.
Without talking?
Well, they're saying you have to have those traits because, you're
traits?
the trait of conscious
Talking
pioneer.
to the spirit world?
That's
without
damn right.
words?
Yeah, it's very wicked. I'm telling you, you need to go in the next month. January 5th, Blue Man Group, Briar Street Theater. I don't know if they're all sold out yet or
No,
not.
tickets are still available.
Okay, well, I wonder why it's ending. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's finally. I mean, for 27 years. Come on, man.
They've cycled through the population. The problem is too many people have seen Blue Man Group.
I've seen it 3 times.
Really?
I took 3 first dates to it.
My man.
Well, not a good close. See, it doesn't do a lot. Nobody was impressed enough to go on a second date with you.
Damn.
Not good.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q 101.